tariff rates on U.S. goods on May 14th. Trump announces $600 billion Saudi investment commitment. Starting to see some headlines hitting the wire right now. Pushing, fueling.
There's a lot of confluence down there around that 32, 27, 60. You've got settlement right there, which is, what is it, 32, 28. You got the top of the gap, which has been kind of penetrated from above 52, 28, 40. So just a lot of confluence there. It helps you limit risk if you're going to do it, but we've left the initial balance to the downside, and it's going to be hard to take along if that remains. We need to see some basing here. Look at this.
Yeah.
Get through it.
And we're also inside, right? Yeah. And we're also inside yesterday's entire rotation.
Yes.
More headlines out of China here. Reduce the 34% tariff rates on U.S. goods down to 10%. Tariff cut on U.S. goods is to take effect May 14th. May 14th. As we continue to see equities pushing higher here. 58.92, new high in the ES. See if we get up to those
leading the way
is
NVIDIA is up close to 4%. They've rebounded all the way back to, Hogan's trading 127.65 right now.
Yay.
From the 90s just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, somebody is also selling a tremendous amount of puts. Somebody just sold 2,820 short puts for the 23rd of May at the 125 strike. That's $103 million. No, that's 103,000 in one clip. So, and they're doing it over and over again. Somebody just
somebody missed the rally and now needs to get allocated.
Yeah.
So, Anne-Marie, when you see that, for those who are, what does that mean? Is that bullish or bearish? Is the sentiment of that
bullish?
Trade
yeah. When we sell puts, the delta is positive. Means we want for prices to go higher, so what we sold gets cheaper. So we sell high and buy low when we're selling options, just like when we're selling contracts in the future. Same
like
sort
a long position.
Yes. Short puts is essentially long. And what it tells you is, hey, if price moves back, I'm okay with taking possession of the stock. And if not, then I make my money for positioning the trade. Some of my favorite things to do are really get on those edges and sell premium. It's a good way to boost your cash level while you're trying to make directional trades elsewhere.
Indeed.
And there's a lot of platforms where you can find the option data. I find that usually they are paid for like the volume and open interest, so I don't want to endorse anything in particular, but any of the platforms. Like I use Fidelity, and you can see it there.
Thinkorswim, also a lot of us use Thinkorswim, and they have a really nice little widget called Trade Flash, and you can ask it, tell me what's moving really big in the NAS, tell me what's moving in the S&P. And so that's a really nice thing to do. And it's a widget a lot of people don't know exists. So go over there, scroll down, go look for Trade Flash, and it'll tell you what's going on if you happen to use Thinkorswim.
Over the wire here, China's finance ministry to cancel additional tariffs imposed on U.S. products. That's just part of what's going on here right now. We do see that coming off the China finance ministry. They are hitting the wire here with some comments, so I will be watching that. Thank you, guys.
I got a poll up in the chat right now. Do you trade options as well as futures? Yes or no? See or no?
Nice little bounce off that IB low from yesterday in gold. Close to it anyway. There it is.
Here we are. Oh, do you trail a stop or is still just keeping it there?
It's still basically at break even right now.
I'll touch it. Yep. Well, if we got time.
I'll see if I can find a spot to tighten it up a little bit, but usually I end up putting it too tight.
So, all right. Ooh, we saw that crude trade. Let's trade in crude, $62.85. We'll take a little bit of heat on that. Yes, did not get up to the 5,900s just yet. About 9 points away from that. Made a high of 58.93.
Crude.
Just buy anything. Buy any little pullback. That might be. Look out above here. Crude catching more of a bid now. Saw some heavy long tilts in the equities in the ES and the Nasdaq, well above 70%. We saw 77% long in the ES. They're probably getting paid because we are making new highs. Saw 73% long on the tilt in the Nasdaq, making new highs here. 21,152 just printed.
You know, Andre, earlier on that tilt, early this morning, it was 90% long in the crude.
And
90%, yeah. I haven't seen that in a while.
Eddie,
obviously there wasn't that many people trading, but still, it's still held on. It's holding right now, 75% long.
I think we see the biggest tilt one way or another in crude, Eddie, out of all the markets.
93,
yeah.
93.
See some big, heavy.
I think crude
81
got
right
our
now.
stop.
So it is moving. 81% long crude in the tilt.
We're now flat crude. We got hit on that stop. 62.90.
Please remember, tilt, this data is for entertainment purposes only. It cannot be used for a buy or sell indicator.
Exactly. That's a beautiful thing.
Look,
so it looks
new
like
highs.
the zero date calls, maybe someone could confirm in here for the SPX, are right around this level.
Yeah.
58.75 there, which is like right here, right now. 58.95. Maybe if there was some consolidation here, I might think about the short at some point, but not while we got these green Shrek candles coming at us hot and heavy.
Yeah, yes, they are grinding higher.
You're killing it every time.
Did you call them Shrek candles?
Highs, yes.
Yeah,
Crude just popped
because he's big and green.
85% long crude.
Yep, 85% long D just put a new high, $60.99.
730 bar high right now.
I think this has to do with Saudi, the meeting that he's talking about. Things are looking good over there so far, especially with that $600 billion Saudi investment commitment. That's now $600 billion.
That's
New
big.
highs. Long tilt, 71% long in the ES, 70% long on the Nasdaq, 85% long on crude, and we are cooking to the upside. Nasdaq new highs, 21,179. New highs, ES. Let's see if we go get those 5,900 evens. We got 250 offered at 5,900 even. We're about 2 points away from that. Present.
Off the wire, U.S. and Saudi sign a defense sales agreement worth nearly $142 billion. It's coming over the wire. Talk about friends.
Anne Marie, you seeing any reversal in crude, in gold, I should say? See any reversal
Okay,
there?
so interestingly, this, last time we were on Lunchbox Traders, I talked about market structure quite a bit. And so if we look at this daily chart in gold here on the right-hand side, you'll see that there is this monster move starting on the low April the 7th and running all the way up into April 23rd. And it's that 50% reflexive motion. You can see we haven't broken the market structure, meaning we haven't broken below, we haven't broken above. So we're still in that range. And I like to look at that 50% area. So I think we're going to have, a little bit of a rock fight right here to see who wins. Trend is, if we look at that 63 simple moving average, it's down, and our momentum indicators are sitting in the middle. So it could be a little bit of a ping pong action event here. Top of this candlestick seems to at the top of the range near, whatever that number is, 32. Blind is bad. Can't see with glasses, can't see without glasses. 3270 or something. Yeah. And so yes, a reflexive bounce, but sticky bits. I'd be using micros to trade that. We've had what 400-point moves here lately,
Yeah.
and we've got to manage risk in that space.
And there's no shame in trading micros.
Yep, absolutely. Just once you get that framework of where trend might be going or what the range might be doing, then you can size up. But when you're testing the waters like this, micros are the best way to go.
And it's funny though because like right now I'm only trading this account.
Indeed. All right, keep seeing the headlines. Scheduled to speak moments away, imminent, whatever word you want to use. But before we do that, it's Tuesday. Every Sunday we come out with a new tip of the week here at Top 7 TV. With that being said, I'm gonna throw it to my main man Eddie. Eddie, what is this week's tip of the week?
Tip of the week, Tuesday, second day of the week here. Reassess your strategy regularly. Regular reassessments. Remember, this allows traders to identify what's working, what's not. It's going to eliminate costly habits, and it's going to help you adapt to new risks or opportunities, especially with the way these markets are moving. This is something that you need to keep an eye on. It also helps maintains discipline, prevents emotional decision making, long-term consistency, and remember, it's in short, it's not it's a strategy. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of professionalism and growth. And I got a couple here reasons for this. How about this? How about preventing emotional drift? And what I'm talking about is going to bring discipline and reduce impulsive trading, right? Also, how about risk management? So important in trading. I think that's the number one thing. Manage yourself, manage your trades. Your tolerance or capital may change with time. And also, how about identifying bad habits? Now, regular analysis reveals unconscious errors or bias. You don't want to have that. So remember, reassess your strategy regularly. Keep an eye on it. If it's not working, things need to be done. Thank you, Andre.
Thank you, Eddie. 5,900 evens printed. Anne Marie. Take a short up there.
Yeah, I did. Looks like I'm going to regret it. But it's $58.99.
$58.99. Okay. Micros.
Yes, sir. No, minis. There's a mini.
Okay, one
mini.
ES, short one ES, $58.99.
Order filled. Order filled.
Whole results.
Pop a few stops there.
Yes, there were.
Yep.
570 votes coming at you hot and heavy. Do you trade options as well as futures? 69% say no.
How do people find you? Yeah, strongtrading.com. So I'll even put it in the chat.
85% long on the crude right now. That tilt.
I see that. Still holding.
Yes, it is. Still going higher.
Yeah, I think this is.
Anne Marie, why that level?
I'm trying to trade what I think the chains are showing, but it's the liquidity grab here. So I'm gonna let it. I'm gonna give it a sweet minute here. It's gonna probably stop me out. So it's minus.
Anne Marie, you mentioned
400.
chains. You mentioned chains. You're talking about like the first down football chains.
In a sense, yes.
That's how I picture it. As you're moving the chains.
Yes.
New highs, 59.08 now just popped. New highs in the Nasdaq, 21,209 just printed. Buyers are in the house. What did he say? Or is this just a squeeze? Are they just... Go ahead,
yes, that was my question, Andre. Does anybody think that this is actually a squeeze event? Shorts getting caught flat-footed, and is there something we can look at for the delta, the shifting delta over the past couple of days to help us assess whether there's actually quantitative information that might validate that?
100%, Anne Marie. 100%. Yesterday, in the S&Ps, we added 43,000 estimated new contracts, new open interest. When we look at the direction,
Order filled.
Yesterday, market opened and broke. It grinded here and then grinded all the way back higher and put in a new high at the end of the day. At one point in this
Order filled.
let's just call it 58.50.
Nice.
Delta was negative 20,000.
So
the buyers came in down here.
What was this?
Pushed their bids up to
91
continued just
and
putting in bids,
401.
letting the
91 and
short-time frame traders hit into
401.
them. And
So we're going to
the
do
short squeeze, which created the late
3
spike to the upside at the end
right
of the day.
here.
We've been wondering, I know everybody has been wondering, where do we have to go to see the adults come back into the room? Here's the S&Ps. The adults came back into the room when we broke out above this area of balance and above this week's weekly kickoff high, 57.5. So we saw good volume yesterday, a big jump in open interest against negative delta. That's when I start to say, okay, we've awoken the sleeping bull in this case. The adults may be back in the room now because they don't want to get left behind. If they're not performing to the upside, they're going to get a talking to, not only by their clients, but their bosses. If you're underinvested in an up move, you're in big trouble.
And that is why you sell a bunch of NVIDIA puts.
Yes.
New highs. Well, there goes some stops in the Nasdaq. 21,246 just printed. Pulled back about 10 points off of that. New highs in the ES. 59.13.
Next area of interest for me is 59.20. That's 5,900 SPX.
59.20. All right, about 6 points to go there.
Zero day calls getting paid today so far.
59.23, 5% off the March all-time high.
59.23. Good stuff. Write that level down. Again, not a signal, just a price of interest. 59.23. Got about 10 points to go before we get to that.
Also,
on Pereira.
in the NQ, the implied vol move for the week is 21,345. So if this still keeps running at a clip, we had an implied vol move of 21,177, and they just blasted right through it like it was not even there. And so 21,345, but if they come back down inside of this 21,177, they're probably going to have a little fight there in terms of seeing whether the next move is up or, back down into the range. The NQ is well above the highs of yesterday, really well above them.
Crude ain't done either. Crude just printed a new high, $63.08.
That's where I think a lot of shorts are caught flat-footed there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of shorts, a lot of longer-term shorts are caught flat-footed there.
I'm struggling, trying to take some scalps and force some trades.
And they're saying,
so how are you guys on the
get Wilson back in there and buy.
Buy is right. All right, JD, come on in. P&Ls, payouts, gotta see them. We got the markets moving right now. Come on in here, JD. Happy Tuesday, my man.
Happy Tuesday to you guys also. Let's start with yesterday's best live funded P&Ls. Oh, let's give the guys in the back just one more second.
All right, give us a, my bad, Gabe. Gabe's going to kill me on that one. There's JD upper right. Come on in, Gabe. All right, come on in.
All right, here we go. Yesterday's best top 5 live funded P&Ls. Here they are. At the top, we've got Gerald C, $17,967. Trading the ES and the NQ. Pulled 8160 out of the ES, another 9,800 out of the NQ. Big day for Gerald C. Deshaun trading the NQ and the Japanese yen. $16,827. 38.51 out of the yen and just about 13,000 out of the NQ. We have an anonymous squirrel, $11,602 trading the NQ and the ES. Then we have Johnny D, $10,553 trading the NQ. Also Alfredo trading the NQ, $9,269 for Alfredo. Whoa, we got a phone call. Who's that?
Who's calling?
Hello?
Come on.
Order filled.
Hello?
Yeah. Hey, it's me, Anonymous. Yeah, how you doing, man?
What's up, Mr. Hamster?
It's calling me a squirrel. Like, the squirrels are little rodents. Give me something like Anonymous Tiger, because I feel like one. You know, with these tariffs easing and hitting the wires, let me tell you, it's like the market chugged an espresso and decided to run a sprint. And while the talking heads are still arguing about these macro implications, I was already long and laughing. Every tick up, basically.
Order filled.
Thank you. Note from the market. And I've had more green days this week and last week than a kale farmer. Not saying I'm printing money, but if my P&L had a voice, I'd be singing that song from Santana, Winning. And don't ask me for my secret. I'm still pretending it was all part of the plan. Now, hey, I like you guys. I love Top Step. I really appreciate what's going on here. And I got a little tip I'm going to share.
Oh.
Forget chasing perfection, okay? Focus on progress. One smart decision a day beats 100 reckless ones. I'll tell you that. Now, stay consistent. Stay curious. Let the market do its thing, both in P&L and your mindset. And this is Anonymous Tiger signing out. Thanks for having me, guys. Talk to you next time.
Damn, JD, he's dunking on us, man.
Right? Nice. So we sacrifice
Hamster. All right.
6.
Well, let's move on to
$7, $6
we had some
on
nice
that
payout
exit
also.
to
We've got
let it
another
retest. Okay, so
six-figure.
here is
Let me
the
get that
take
real
profit. I'm going to take 3 right here, right above the flag,
No, that wasn't me.
which is 64.
That was
we got another
anonymous.
six-figure payout from yesterday.
64.
Look at this.
Oh my
Lemuel,
goodness.
$100,000
This is
payout. That's a great way to
464.
start the week.
Damn.
Taking 100K on a Monday. Love it. Ben T on the big board.
That's
Also, Ben T was one of our very first live trader bonus, live trader performance bonus achievers.
No.
Picked up 15 grand in his life.
We're going to
account.
take 4
Made
right
that
there.
$1,000 bonus.
Looking
Just
for
withdrew
$184.
$50,000. So Ben T making all the right moves in that live funded account. Top 10 on the big board also. Adrian, $44,211 in payouts. Matthew S, 25 grand, and Dewan, $20,000. Big numbers from these live funded traders to start the week. Nice job, everyone. Oh, Ben T's going to be on tomorrow. We got him in fast markets. So make sure you stick around for that. He's coming in, trading live. There you have it.
Excellent stuff, JD.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm short
Right.
1 ES. I will attempt this 2 times. I wanted to see it get to the 920s first, but you got a bit of the turnaround. Want to see if it goes back towards the where we have it, 58.95 option level. It's the first kind of slowdown we've gotten. Now it could very well be buy the dip, which I assume what Hoag's telling me he'd prefer to be doing that, but we're not risking much on it. And as I said, 1 of 2 times I will try this.
Top up to 59.02 and a half. Got pretty close.
It's got to break this moving average. It's because it is really buy the dip in this space. I do want to say on a side note, based on what Eddie was talking about a little bit, just remember that perfection is the enemy of progress. It's the enemy of progress. So remember when you said, hey, don't look for perfection. It is truly the enemy of progress.
Anonymous.
Oh, sorry.
Eddie, Anne-Marie.
Hey, wait a minute.
Oh, no.
Stick around. Anne-Marie's going to give us all the 11 herbs and spices for KFC chicken recipe.
It's like, giving away the magician's secrets around here. Houdini.
Oh, what's going on?
Incredible.
Misidentified. That's okay.
Incredible. Oh, it's so good. All right, we're trading around 59.07 in the ES. $14. Not seeing anything out from the president just yet, Anne Marie. Good to have you back, Anne Marie.
Just count on
over
me
the
to
wire
vote my
here.
foot.
We got
You
some
got,
more.
Anonymous?
I mean, Eddie. Eddie's here. Check 1, 2, 3. Check Eddie. Come in, Eddie. This over the wire here. U.S. firms including Google, Oracle, Salesforce, AMD, they're committing $80 billion. Saudi Arabia. Also,
we go.
We also have
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Partnerships to build AI factories in Saudi Arabia. So things are flying over there. Over the wire moving. With I guess they're, boy, I tell you what they're going to serve for lunch. Probably a bunch of Maseratis and a lot of good stuff. Here, have a Maserati for dessert. There you go. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Anonymous. I mean, thank you, Eddie. We're pushing higher, 59.11. Let's see if we can tap on those highs, 59.15. About 4 points to go there.
This is Anonymous.
Wow. There it is. Look at that.
Order filled.
I just freaked everybody out.
76% long on the crude tilt. Heavy long tilts.
So my camera's going to be back on a second, guys.
On the ladder right now. Let's take a look at the NQ. What's popping over there on the NQ ladder?
Sorry, I was muted myself. Took a small loss there, and now I'm waiting to see what it does at 59.20. But that's the plan.
All right. 59.20. 50-50 on the tilt. Still nothing from the president, who's over in Riyadh, I do believe. Shout out to Mohammed. Mohammed, boots on the ground. We need you reporting.
Yes.
Oh. Light on the likes right now. Very light on the likes. Click like, follow, and subscribe if you'd be so kind. Also, click on that bell. Anne-Marie, did you click like yet?
Of course
Marie.
not. I always forget. I know. What is wrong with me?
I saw it. Yep.
Don't take me anywhere.
I love it. It's all good. Get those likes up. Also, click on that bell, upper right hand corner. Click on that bell to notify, so you know when TopStep TV is coming at you live on the clock around the globe as well.
Here comes that short, Jack. As long as it doesn't breach 59.12. If it does, you got more upside.
Just put it in first lower high there.
And then look, the runner needs to be running right now. So it was a little choppy right here, but the div was actually pretty clean.
Oh, should be taking there.
That would have been my
we shall see.
Yeah.
About following my rules, first div above.
Well, Anne Marie, we really nailed the wire here. There, didn't we?
So that's dope. That would have been.
Pardon me?
Microsoft's cutting 3% of all workers. This is coming from CNBC. Microsoft cutting 3% of all workers is a big number. Thank you.
And then,
Thank you, Eddie.
meanwhile, we're kind of still getting a div right now.
Anne Marie, I was saying we really nailed. We really nailed the low in gold there, didn't we?
We're still getting that div. So I could potentially take a
Yeah,
div, since I'm already
absolutely.
I'll just be trading
Absolutely.
that.
Just getting, and here's the thing. We have to think about whether we're doing a quick strike trade or we're looking for something that's going to have an intraday trend to it. And there's a lot of back and forth in your head. I love that gal last week who said, hey, stop and ask yourself a question. And that brings the gears. Yeah, it brings the gears into a space where you go, wait a second. Am I chasing? Am I moving? Am I, what's going on there? And really, the key to staying green during the day, I am finding, is you have to determine, listen, am I going in for a quick strike? Or am I going to sit back and just wait for this trade to rotate to where I think it's going to? And once you decide that framework, then you can go full bore, because that low in gold definitely was there on the intraday. The question is, how long do you hold it for? Where do you put your stop?
Yep.
And
I just got worked.
I don't know.
Right. That's
Crew
the
pop.
mistake I made right there. For lack of a better word, I totally wussed out on where I put that stop.
Yeah.
No half measures.
Heads up. Something just crew just popped there about a quarter. Popped up to 63.48. Now back down to 63.27. Dow took a dump, fell out there. We'll see if the Nasdaq and ES want to follow suit. But I did see a pop, big heavy volume. Oh, here we go. Come on,
we go
Eddie.
just over the wire here. Hot biscuit. U.S. sanctions, a network of smuggling Iranian oil to China. That just hit the wire here.
No.
Wait, what?
One more time, Eddie.
U.S. sanction, a network of smuggling Iranian oil to China. So, regarding that sanction, U.S. sanctions a network smuggling Iranian oil to China. Just over the wire.
Well, that probably
The
did
house
hit
is
that pop.
house is now flat everywhere. We got our stop hit at 59.02 half. So we are flat.
All right.
You wanna
Let's
add-
update that P&L. We good to go on that P&L? Looks good?
2 more.
Guys, can you hear the
Or
nail
total
gun that's in the background of
7.
my plays? Do you hear a buzzing
Negative.
sound? Amazing.
I
'cause
don't.
It's loud here. Beautiful.
Good mic.
Yeah, they're putting up a
Maybe
fence
somewhere
in our
here.
yard right now.
What up,
Still nothing from the president just yet. Making us wait.
Did you take a little break? Is that
Fashionably
everything?
late.
Back on the saddle? All right, guys,
Drama.
we can take
Yes.
I'm bummed I didn't get
So
my
I went to a wedding this
take
weekend
two.
also. A
Chicago?
whirlwind weekend in Chicago. Yeah, I had all kinds of things going on, but it was a wedding. The bride,
It's all good.
48 minutes late.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
I'm just gonna keep showing it, guys.
What?
That's wild.
Come on.
She was
What?
48 minutes late. It was
well.
hilarious. Of course, the bride
Boom.
is a
Well, that was
beautiful
a good one.
woman,
I made
but
back
she
the loss
is
from that wedding,
terminally
but the
late.
copy trader
And
wasn't
so
hard.
she was
next one, I'm
thinking,
just gonna leave them
I think I'm going to be
out, and
fashionably
the copy
late.
trader
And
on
then
actually
she
my
hit
phone.
Chicago traffic.
Just in a 90 minute
And it
there,
was
one,
just,
two,
we were
three,
all just sitting
four.
in there twiddling our thumbs going, we know she's going to make it. She's not standing them out, but.
Did
she's
that discussion ever get?
late.
Did we ever talk about that? He's getting the groom's getting stood up.
Not
Did
for
that
a second.
Not for a second. Okay.
Not for a second. There's pure adoration.
Again, I wanna
Pure
go through
adoration.
the
So
one.
she just.
I'm sure they
Yeah.
were in communication. If you don't get
Oh,
any
yeah,
phone
yeah,
call
yeah, yeah.
and she's 48 minutes late, that's
Yeah, there's the trouble.
That's
there's
tough.
the trouble.
Okay, so we tapped the 20.
48 minutes late.
I know.
Oh my.
It was crazy.
Groom was sweating bullets. Says,
any-
"Come."
Yeah.
Um,
That doesn't normally happen
anybody
in
in
your
chat-
average Anglo wedding. Yes.
Yeah. Does anyone in the chat have you ever
Phoenix,
known
Phoenix.
someone that was stood up at the altar?
Okay,
Does
that's
this
good.
happen in real
Ooh.
life?
I love that. You're an evolution in YouTube last
Ooh.
year.
I think if you know you're going to get stood up, I think they send you a 1 ticket to the White Sox game.
They do.
Yeah,
You only get 1 ticket. It's a good
You
indication.
get a can of
that-
Pepsi.
So, I'm looking for this hold. I might just find that.
Can't have a
actually
cab.
seen
Yeah, you know, I don't think I have.
Pretty
I don't
much, I want to
think
see.
I
I
have.
don't.
I'm just gonna type.
I
it like
have
that.
been
I
to
know
a
it's a
wedding
bull.
where right afterwards the bride and groom were fighting like cats and dogs, screaming, shouting match.
Oh, I'm aware of a wedding that the divorce proceedings were in action within a week.
You get your money back on the gift or something like that, and
Given the situation, I wasn't going to wade into that one.
Yeah.
fair enough. Of course, I'm just joking.
You-
We got Davey in the chat saying I
Keep the
should have stood up
blender.
my first wife. Shout out, Davey.
Ouch.
Gold
Yeah.
pushing higher here,
Couldn't
32.48.
do that.
We bottomed out at 32.29, so we're about $20 higher as we continue to push higher in the.
The only
That's not
thing with
big
lower approval ratings than Congress are first spouses, as I hear it from the chat.
I'm not really liking it. If I'd gotten that 20,
I would, EH. I would.
better. So we'll try
Right.
it out.
Ken,
Crew
is
came
that
right
true?
back. What's up, Eddie?
I'm just gonna get out, guys.
No, Ken and chat. I was stood up at the altar.
Damn.
That sucks. No.
Sorry. Tough day, but it's probably for the best.
Now what do we do?
Question, Jack.
It's just really choppy. The EMA
You just killed the mood.
Not what I want to see. I'm just gonna stay out of it.
Good job, Jack. Just killed the vibe. Look at that smile. All right, let's take a look at this 5-minute chart on the Nasdaq or ES. It's bull flag. Some people call this a bull flag. Look at the chart. Ooh. There you go. Samuel, thank you. You bailed me out there. I had to change the subject somehow. It does look like a bull flag. Last trade, 21,220 in the Nasdaq. 20 points off the highs there. Hey, I think Hook stepped off. What was that 5%? Do you remember that price, Jack? 59.23, I do believe.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
That's a good number.
Off all-time highs.
Be right back.
That's a vol high too.
5% off the all-time high. Yeah.
59.23. All right, thank you, Hope.
We're building kind of a volume shelf here.
What does that mean, Anne-Marie?
So, more price acceptance at these higher levels. So if everybody stabilizes in a region and says, hey, listen, I will agree that I won't pay less than this and I won't pay more than that, it ends up giving us a range. And that range, if it moves over and over again, will create a volume shelf. If you look at a volume profile, it'll stick out just a little bit. And it's just telling you that more people are saying, all right, I accept this price. Let's see if we move higher or we move lower. So structurally, the break, as long as we hold that 58.99 area, which was the area that I went short, I should have turned around and gone long right at that pullback. As long as we hold that zone, we're going to see what I think are the sellers continuing to push prices higher.
Flag.
Okay.
Let's see what it can do here.
You know, Andre, regarding that spike in crude,
Order filled.
That was off the wire regarding the smuggling Iranian oil to China. A little more detail on that oil from Iran helped fund Iranian weapons and Houthi attacks. Also imposes pressure Iranian-related sanctions on shipping networks. It says sent millions of barrels of Iranian oil to China. So that money helped fund Iranian weapons and Houthi attacks. So that's why we see that spike here in crude. Back to you.
Thank you. Yep, Algo's probably scraped it, jumped on it. Like I was saying, we popped to $63.48. We're right back to the initial price at $63.08 before that headline did hit. On the hour has come and gone. The holding pattern market might just be waiting for more information, as Hogue would say.
Maybe it's waiting for the news.
Wait for the news. Do we have any news? Oh, come on in.
Yeah, we got a little news. Well, I was just cruising the Fed Watch tool this morning, as one does. And just wanted to give us kind of our state of where the Fed is shaking out. Now, I know a lot of people want... this is why theoretically the central bank is independent. There really isn't that much of a reason to cut rates right now. We've actually moved to a higher probability of there not being a cut at the June meeting. We're down to a 92% chance of keeping rates unchanged for the June meeting, which is June 18th. Put it on your calendar. And then if we go out to December, the kind of terminal rates for the end of the year just keep on getting shifted back. You can see just a little while ago, we were looking for like 4 to 5 cuts, maybe like that. Now, the highest implied probability is of 50 basis points in cuts. That would bring us down to the 3.75 to 4% range. Next most popular is 3 cuts, which brings us down there. But this keeps on getting pulled in. We're not seeing too much fracturing in the labor market. Inflation is coming in, but it's still above the target, which is 2%. And asset prices have certainly recovered nicely. So unless something changes, I kind of agree with that. I think Goldman even said they're not expecting a rate cut until December. But remember,
And
they
JP
change
Morgan.
that all the time.
Yep, both of them came out and said that. Yep.
Jack, let me ask you, what do you think? Are we just arbitrarily saying we're just going to cut rates just for the sake of cutting rates? Obviously, it's all data driven. Where do they need PCE to get, or inflation to get, if they want to actually cut rates? Because it's sticky right now.
You know, the limiting factor right now is, even though everything's kind of cool as far as not cool as in bad, but cool as in cool brah, in the job market, inflation's coming in, but kind of the stick in the mud is that the longer term rates are still relatively high, right? We got the 10-year near 4.5%, the bonds near 5%. So, you know, there's been huge steepener trades put on of sending the front end of the curve lower. It's kind of like a longer term inflation play, right? So I don't think I'd be inclined to cut with the 10-year where it's at, the job market where it's at, and the inflation prints where it's at. But we'll see. Probably another month or two, we'll see if there is, who knows, what the effects are of some of the tariffs, but there's good news there too. So that's what it is. Also, some good news. I have one more news story. We point out a lot when people in Congress make really good trades, but it's good to see that there's some honestly bad trades out there. And revealed this morning, I love when people post their losses, right? An unfortunately timed trade by Senator Mark Wayne Mullen of Oklahoma sold off, I think we got a photo for this, sold off hundreds of thousands of dollars of stock on April 8th, right before the market rebounded on the tariff pause announcement. Now, the good news for Mr. Mullen is, I believe, I forget exactly how, but he is rather wealthy as far as congressional folks go. But hey, this might be the anti-Pelosi trade right here.
Was that the day where the boss said buy stocks?
He's not in the club. He's not
day
in the
before,
club.
not in the club. Maybe he's not on Twitter.
Also, hey, Jack, back to rates real quick. What if this is just the new normal, and the last 10, 15 years of 0% or 0.25%? That's not normal. That's not, it's historically, it's never been there. And we're just conditioned that rates should be beneath 4% just because we saw it so cheap for so long. 4.5 on the grand scale, it's not that high.
Well, you're going against the trend of, I showed that chart once, of 8 centuries of interest rate. Since 1310, interest rates have tended to come in. We've reached the lower bound, unless you're like Switzerland, which has gone negative in yield. Yeah, maybe it's the new normal, but I think that everybody would like the 10-year rate to be in the 3s. 3.5 too much to ask? Be pretty nice, because
free money,
you know, with the mortgages, it just messes everything up. Not free, like 1% is too low, but I think 3.5% would be great. So that's Mullen's trade. We're selling off old Jackie P with his stop.
Jack.
You had it. We had him by the, I won't say what I was going to say.
The short hairs, I'll say.
Yes. Short hairs. Thank you, Anne Marie. Yes, we are sold out. We never got to 59.23. We did top out at 59.15 in the ES, down about 15 points from there. 5,900 even last trade in the ES. Nasdaq rolling over a bit, about 50 points off the highs that just printed. 21,194 last trade. Crude. You got those shorts that got stopped on that crude. Just see it go lower here. $62.93. I feel for you. Gold grinding higher. 70% short now. How about the 70% short in the ES? We are seeing some heavy tilts, long and short. 70% short on the tilt. The ES. Dow selling off. Dow might be leading the way down if ES and Nasdaq want to follow. Still, nothing from the president. Maybe it might even be broadcast. We're not sure. I assure you, we are on it. What price did you get short, Jack?
Oh, like 96 or something like that, or 59.06.
Got overextended. What's up, Hoop? Shout out to Coach Hoop.
58.99, wasn't it? No, 59.07. That's right.
Let me take a look.
It was 59.07. That's what I got written down.
You could have another shot. You could have another shot at it.
We'll be patient. I was listening to a really interesting podcast with a treasury bond analyst that was talking about what was happening on the yes.
Yeah, I'm messing with you.
Happening on the night of April 7th, where the yields blew out, and there was a couple interesting things that I took away from it. First is that most of this debt, everyone's talking about this $7 trillion in debt that's rolling over it. Most of it is in the very short end of things, and that central banks and things like that overwhelmingly like to hold on to the short-term stuff. They're not as interested in the longer duration plays. But also that the market is no longer ruled by traders, but by risk managers. So what happens is when you have these blowouts overnight during the Asian markets like you did, is that people basically, there's a time lag because they need to talk to their risk managers about how much they're allowed to fade it, basically, because they don't want to get fired. So that's how you get those blowouts.
Interesting.
Markets are moving by risk managers and not traders. It's hedges,
yeah,
right?
because
it's essentially just
this goes into the basis trade and everything else. Like the basis trade kind of exists because these banks have to have, with new regulations, all this, all these treasuries on their balance sheet, and they got to figure out some way to make money off of them. So the basis trades long the cash, short the futures, which converge unless they blow out.
It's trade. What's the name of this podcast? I know I was busting your chops earlier, but people in the chat would like to know what podcast was that.
Oh, I listen to Odd Lots a lot. It's a Bloomberg podcast.
Oh yeah, they're great.
They're great, and they basically they just have different people every day to talk about something. So you get a lot of experts. They've been doing a lot of like people that are in businesses with tariffs. Like definitely interesting.
If you're into that sort of thing.
Yes.
That's what we're here to do.
This crowd maybe more than some.
Marie. All right, we're stuck on these 5900s in the ES holding pattern all around for now. About 15 minutes into the New York Open here. Let's go around the horn, take a look at some prices in gold. 32.49, up 20 bucks off the lows that were put in 40 minutes ago. CL, crude saw that big pop on that, those sanctioned headlines out of the United States, and we popped to 63.48. We were down about 60 cents off of that. $60.84 there. Dow chopping around. Nasdaq chopping around. ES chopping around a little bit right now. And we can breathe. House account flat. Emery's flat. Take a look at what we have on the schedule for the day. Of course, we have morning recap with Hogue after this. And then, yes, we got a power player, the power player of all power players, Lisa, joining us after morning recap. Lisa, number 2 on the big board. Yes, you heard that right. Number 2 on the big board, joining us with Francis Green, Gobi, and myself. We were very, very excited for that. Again, 11:05, 11:10 a.m. Central Time. Number 2 on the big board, Lisa, will be joining us. And after that, we got Lunchbox Trading, JD, Hoop, Hogue. Oh, yes, Storm Room Traders, Ron O with JD and Dolby. And Power Hour. Myself, Dolby Time, and Baron. See who's having a Baron check with him. Then at the buzzer, Coach J, Coach Paul. Or Slow Markets, Coach Dakota. Hopefully Coach Dakota's feeling a little bit better. Was a little bit under the weather this morning. He'll be all right by this evening. Again, yes, Lisa, number 2 on the big board, will be joining us. Power player of all power players. See how she did it.
I mean, Andre, I don't know if I could get away with being in Vegas in 4 days and then feeling
he's been there for a week,
ill for work the next morning.
Week, man. What are you doing? No one goes to Vegas for a week.
I wish I got that. 5 points.
And what happened to Dow? Dow just had a spike, a little bit of a pop. What the hell was that? Getting wiki.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, we'll wait. We'll wait, and we'll be patient. All right,
that's half the trading battle, right? Just you gotta wait for something to definitively tell you you're sitting on the right side, or you just end up expanding your risk. And that's how longevity gets created. If we expand our risk, we're not gonna have longevity. But if we watch that risk, it makes it boring sometimes, but it's always better for you in the end. Truly is.
Well, and it's
pretty
always
much
true that
a whole percent drag on the Dow today is United Health is down 15%.
Yeah, they're getting
and that's a 5.4% weight in the Dow.
Oof.
Yeah, they're getting clobbered.
All right, seeing
Order filled.
on stage at the Saudi-U.S. Investment Forum. Still nothing from the president, but we are seeing some buying here in the Nasdaq. Let's see if they want to take it higher here. We bottomed out right around 21,200. Looking at the 5-minute, we were in that range for about 30 minutes or so. Trading about 25 points higher right now. 59.03 last trade in the ES. We're going to keep an eye of the 59.23s, 20 points higher from here. That's 5% off the all-time highs. Hogue and Anne-Marie, I know you guys both mentioned that. Hogue, 5% off the all-time highs. I mean, what is that number? Just simple, straightforward caveman? Just 5% off all-time highs? And what do you do with that? You see how we react to it?
Yeah, well, since we've been hanging out together, Andre, whenever the market starts to crack, it starts coming off the all-time highs, especially in the equities. I put 5%, 10%, 15%, 20%, 25%, and 30% on the charts. The minute the day when it looks like the market's going to roll over. Because, Andre, how many times have we seen the market stop dead on one of those levels and turn around, at least for a short time frame opportunity? Because we're not the only ones looking at it. Your long time frame traders, they're paying attention to those percentages. Bigger speculators, they're looking at those percentages, and they do offer some decent opportunity. Now let me see if I can show you. I think it's the Nasdaq where we see. Okay, so here's the all-time high. As soon as we start getting below that 5% level, I'm putting them up. We go through the 10% level. Where do we go to? The 15% level. Back to the 10% level. Back to the 15% level off the all-time high. Through the 20 down to the 25%, we start basing there. We come all the way back up to the 15% off the all-time high. We look below the 20% off the all-time high. We walk through the 15% off the all-time high. We stay there for a number of days. And now we've broken out above a weekly kickoff high, above the last week's high, above the 10% off the all-time high. But you don't see this until afterwards, but you can see it now how important these levels become when the market is pulling off.
New highs, Nasdaq 21,249. Now 250s print. 252s now print.
Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah, it does. It's basically it's a 5% discount on the equities, man. That was a bull flag short squeeze. Call it what you want. 59.07 last trade in the ES. Nasdaq just popped right there. I'm not even looking. That was just kind of doing its own thing, like Jack was saying, because United Healthcare is getting smoked right now. No follow through on this one.
You can see it on the S&Ps too. 5%, 10%, find support. Short of the 5%, find support at the 10%. Barrels through to the 20%, find some support. Back to the 10%, back to the 15%, and we're back to the 5 now. It's just something that people look at, and when traders are looking at a level, they have a tendency to seek out and use those levels for opportunities. And Anne-Marie, I liked what you were saying earlier about, not sizing up, just, being patient, boring, whatever it is, because when the market's going your way, you'll never have enough on. When the market's going against you, you'll always have too much on.
And my favorite mantra is, my favorite mantra is, it's way better to be wishing you were in a trade than wishing you weren't.
Wishing you weren't.
All right, so channel members get extra,
Like it.
extra additions, luck modifiers.
Yep.
They push this Nasdaq higher. Yeah, about 8 points
Oh,
to
guys,
see a
it's
pop.
when you click on that
The
link,
short's going to
yeah,
fuel this rally. Stay
we-
tuned to find out on Top Step TV. With that being said, again, we are always looking for feedback around here. We need your input. Tell us what we can do better. Tell us what we stink at. Tell us what you like. How do they do that, Eddie? How do our amazing people, all our traders all across the globe, how do they do that? Come on in, Eddie. Hit the people.
Yeah, you know what? I tell you, we really appreciate who we have here in our chat. Great community that we have here. And, you know, we're going to ask you, we're going to put on the table and say, you know, if you like what we're doing, let us know, okay? We're going to be putting a link. There is the Trustpilot link. So head over to Trustpilot, leave us a review. We appreciate your feedback. Okay, we honestly do. So we can keep serving up the best in tradertainment. And if you got a minute, just a minute, I think that's all it really takes here. Fill that out for us. Let us know. And Andre, you were talking about Musk on the airwaves. He just showed a Tesla Optimus robot to Prince Mohammed and Trump. So he's showing off his wares. That's why he was on the air. And I got that. So Trustpilot, back to you, Andre.
Thank you.
And it seems like you guys
Going higher here, 21,244. Seeing Elon on the stage in Riyadh right now.
270
Rally Hogue?
5906 bid.
Right.
We're going to say at least 20 streams.
Did it get filled?
I'll invite you in the private Discord. It's
Not yet.
Okay.
And,
Dancing with it.
Yes, it is.
There we go.
06 is trade filled. There you go.
Yeah, that volume shelf is definitely building. I mean, we're definitely getting some price acceptance up there. And usually, if trend breaks by time, meaning the candlesticks chop around in a range, when it breaks, it's usually in the direction of trend.
I think he's also giving it the blessing of lots of profits.
Yes, as someone said in the chat, perhaps close your eyes, hold your nose, and buy.
Like last July. 14 new all-time highs. 14 new all-time highs. July 2024. Shout out to Hoop. Shout out to Hoop on that one. Just busting your chops there, Hoop.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I'm sorry about not getting used to the schedule and showing up fashionably late. At least I wasn't 48 minutes late. But
Yes.
I do appreciate getting to spend time with you guys. I'll be looking on the side.
Well, we appreciate you too.
Yeah.
Sorry I didn't get the chance to see you when you were in Chicago.
I know. Next time I'll be up again. I'll
Awesome.
be up again. All kinds of fun stuff going on.
Where were you in Chicago? Were you in the city?
Where was I? I was in Rosemont. And then I was at the Gold Coast.
That high?
And then I was at the Gold Coast.
Sorry.
And then I was
Sorry.
little bougie. But not often. Little bougie. A little bougie, but not often.
I'm glad you enjoyed your time.
A little bougie. Yeah, it was absolutely.
I'm glad you enjoyed your time.
I love the weather. Yeah, it was absolutely great. I love wind blowing, nice crisp air. Fantastic. I love wind blowing, nice crisp air. Even when it's I love 20 weather of the Midwest. Even when it's extreme 20 below. I love extreme weather. I love extreme.
Was the wedding at the Drake?
I love extreme weather. I do.
Was the wedding at the Drake?
No, it was.
My guess.
Dance floor that lights up.
My guess.
Dance floor that lights up.
There was
Drake.
There was a lot of drunk dancing, which is
there.
always
At a
fun to
wedding.
watch. There was a lot of drunk dancing, which is always fun to watch. So people watching is
Yeah,
but
Thank you very much, Emery.
So
You signing
What's
off
that?
here, Emery?
Yes,
very much,
I
Emery.
am. Tuesday.
You signing off here, Emery?
I'm only here. Yes, I am. Tuesday. I'm only here until 10 a.m. Central. But we'll get it. We'll get it going. Schedule's a little. Look up. Oh, I have a Winston Churchill vote. Quote for you. Oh, I have a Winston Churchill vote. Quote for you to leave the day with. I'm always an optimist. Winston Churchill said, "It doesn't mean it doesn't seem to make much sense or much use. It doesn't seem to make much sense or much use from to be anything else." Our favorite British alcoholic. Our favorite British alcoholic.
Dancing on his grave on the way out. You're just praising him, man. Man,
No,
dancing on his grave on the way out. You're just praising him, man.
No,
Emery.
it was at a state's dinner. The funniest joke. Some woman looked at him and she was at a state's dinner. Some woman looked at him and she said, "You are an abysmal drunk." Yes. And he said to her, "Tomorrow I'll be sober." Yes. "And you will still be. But tomorrow I'll be sober."
Yeah.
"And you will still be
Circle Rose.
Yeah.
Circle
He's got a lot of one-liners.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
He's got a lot of
Emery,
one-liners.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks,
it's been an absolute
everybody.
pleasure, Emery. Your wisdom, your insight,
Thanks,
it's been an absolute
everybody.
pleasure. In the chat, your wisdom, your insight, Emery. Thank you so much. In the chat, enjoy your Tuesday, Emery. Thank you so much. Au revoir. All right, who we got coming in here? Oh, we got Ho. We got au revoir. All right, Jack coming in here. Oh, we got Ho. We got in the background. Jack in the house. I do got July of 2024. He was Perma Bear. Talk to him about that July of 2024. He was Perma Bear. He is. July 2024. What are we going around here? He is. It's a lot of 260. 260. What are we going around here? James, what do we got on the Nasdaq ladder? 260. Oh, yes, we do. James, what do we got on the Nasdaq ladder? 21,000. Oh, yes, we do. Offered 600 times on the Nasdaq. 21,260 offered 600 times on the Nasdaq. James, that's what we do around here at TopStep TV. About 10 points away from that. Nice catch, James. That's what we do around here at TopStep TV.
Anyone else, guys? Are you subscribed?
Yes. I came down to 259.
Did you type in day one?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, did you click the link?
Oh, go get it. Go get it.
Find
Sticking
this
high here.
video stat.
Nasdaq. Oh, go get it. 600
Trying to
offered.
find this
Sticking high here.
video
21,259. 600 offered. Caveman trade. 21,259. Go get it. Last trade 21,255. Get it. Last trade 21,255. 5 points away. On the tilt. 260 is the high day, so it's about a point beneath the high day. We've got 600 is the high day, so it's about a point beneath the high day. We've got 600 offered. What's up, Hoop? Come on in.
Don't remind me
What's up, Hoop?
July, please. Don't remind me of July,
well, I'm
please.
still ringing the doorbell. You're inside already, Hoop. Well, I'm still ringing the doorbell. You're inside already, Hoop.
Hello. What up, Hoop? I'm in.
What's up, guys?
Hello. Hello.
Hey,
What up,
how's it
Hoop?
going?
What's up, guys?
Hey, how's it
Watching
going?
the rally.
So Nvidia up
Watching the rally.
$7.35
So
today.
Nvidia
up
share flow
$7.35 today. Means a share float of 23.4 billion, 150 billion is added just today. 150 billion in market cap just today. Gotta love it.
Guys, we got 29 entries. Nice. What's up, Spaz Trade? What's up, guys?
2052. Moments away, seeing President Trump set to speak. James or moments away, seeing President Trump set to speak. James or Gabe or Cameron, how are we looking on that back there? Any indication as to whether or not we will get it?
So how pulled off the these panels?
Again, 600 offers.
They will let you know.
Real tight today.
Yes. 600 offers.
They will
We're
let you
waiting
know.
here. Over the wire here, Trump is
Stand by.
considering joining the Ukraine. We're waiting here. Over the wire here, Trump is considering joining the Ukraine-Russian talks. Diplomats holding discussions. We talked about the ceasefire. Diplomats holding discussion. He might join the party. And Trump's suggestion, BYOB, join the party. There. We'll see. They told him BYOB, and we'll see you there, Andre. We'll see.
Hey, who?
So
Just BTFD these days in the equities. Just BTFD these days in the equities. Just zombie this thing higher.
No, I'm not.
You convinced?
No. Yesterday definitely hoaxed it earlier. That open interest. Yesterday definitely hoaxed it earlier. That open interest increase. That was, you know, I took Dalton's primer class. You know, one thing he said. Dalton's primer class, and one thing he said that kind of stuck in my brain a little bit. Big money doesn't mind piling in near the highs. They just need big money doesn't mind piling in near the highs. They're not traders. They're not traders. I mean, they're just not. They're not traders. They're not traders. I mean, they're just not. So that really gave me a minute to think. Like, hey, so they're not trying to scalp 10, a minute to think. Like, hey, out of an ES, they're not trying to scalp 10, 10 handles. If they're going to get in out of an ES move, if they're going to get in, yesterday definitely showed a little bit of that for sure. So yesterday definitely showed a little bit of that for sure. A lot of this news that we're waiting to get out of the way is out of the way now. A lot of this news that we're waiting to get out of the way is out of the way now. So, Fed, non-farm, tariffs, so could it be an environment to clear the runway? Yeah, for sure. So could it be an environment to clear the runway? Yeah, I'm just getting on the, I'm just getting on the train. And if it's like July, I'm just getting that thing. I'm just getting on the train. So 5930 is kind of an area I'm looking at. If it starts to go. See if we can. So 5930 is kind of an area I'm looking at. See if we can clear through there. Yeah.
Once again, one of our favorite stories. Once again, one of our favorite raised their 12-month S&P target to 6,500. Goldman raised their 12-month S&P target to 6,500. Whichever way the wind's blowing.
Yeah,
I do too.
What was it
Whichever way the
earlier
wind's blowing.
in April? Yeah, had it down to what, 6,000? What was it earlier in April? Had it down to what, 6,000? But it's all good. Jad, one of my favorite.
I'd have to go back and look.
But it's all good. Jad, one of my favorite.
Revise it lower. Revise it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Holy.
What were you gonna say?
Is that information good?
Holy.
Oh, look at this. Look at this team photo. If you guys are watching this team photo, look at this stage in Riyadh. Look at this team photo. If you guys are watching this team photo on the stage in Riyadh is just epic.
Does anybody watch Archer Aviation? Does anybody watch Archer Aviation?
What is that?
It's a stock to my.
What is that?
My it's a stock to my boyfriend, girlfriend. My gave me a while back. Daughters and boyfriend just kind of gave me a while back. And it's an electronic accumulating company. They've got a couple. It's an electronic government contract. They've got a couple of. Wasn't too sure government contracts. After too sure how Trump was going to go after. But their earnings came out yesterday, and it's Trump up 23%. But their earnings came out yesterday, and it's up 23%.
Why didn't you give us the
right
tip
now?
Where was the
Come
tip?
on,
Blue Horseshoe loves Anacott Steel. Come on, Blue Horseshoe loves Anacott Steel.
Why are you hindsight capital?
But holy cow!
Sounds like you're hindsight capital. Thanks for that.
Blue Horseshoe loves Anacott Steel, right, Hogue? Blue Horseshoe loves Anacott Steel, right, Hogue?
Yeah, loving it today. That's for sure.
My wife's
loving it today. That's for sure.
My wife's.
You get all the stock tips from your wife's boyfriend. Yep. You get all the stock tips from your wife's boyfriend.
Danny G says he did mention it. He mentioned in December. Mentioned in December. Danny G says he did mention it. He mentioned in December. Mentioned in December. Okay, hey, there you go. Keep seeing moments away, moments away. It's been moments away for the last hour and a half. Keep seeing moments away, moments away. It's been moments away for the last maybe cutting deals. Are the deal style back there? Anyways, well, keep an eye on that 600 lot. Maybe cutting deals. Are the deal style back there? Anyways, well, keep an eye on that 600 lot and 259. 259.
A little failure in the Nasdaq above the IB high here. A little failure in the Nasdaq above the IB high, however. Doesn't seem to be wanting to give much back, however.
Crazy Horse asks, why is YM lagging? Why is YM lagging? Crazy Horse asks, why is YM lagging? Why is YM lagging, Jack?
United Healthcare.
Being down $60. Being down $60.
Reminder, the Dow is a price-weighted average. Reminder, the Dow is a price-weighted average. The highest weighted stock. United Healthcare was because the highest weighted stock. They just had a higher stock price, but they're now the third because they've been getting shellacked. They just had a higher stock price, but they're now the third because they've been getting shellacked.
At least Walgreens isn't in there anymore. At least Walgreens isn't in there anymore.
Here we go.
My buddy used to work for Walgreens.
Here we go.
My buddy used to work for Walgreens. Had all this Walgreens stock, and he's just like he's contentious. So he just had all this Walgreens stock, and he's just like he's contentious for the lulz. Go to zero. For the lulz.
seeing the president is getting ready to enter this magnificent building. Look at this building. Is getting ready to enter this magnificent building. Look at this building. Let's see if we get that in here. Wow. It's gorgeous. Bull flag might be a little bit of a holding pattern here. Looks like, look at this grand entrance. We got it back there. All right, Gabe, come on in if you're ready to go. This grand entrance. We got it back there. All right, Gabe, come on in if you're ready to go. Big very exciting stuff yesterday. Gabe, around here at TopstepX. Come on in, Gabe. Look at that beautiful face. Around here at TopstepX. Come on in, Gabe. Look at that beautiful face.
Get your Gabe Palmers in the gate.
Take it away.